Hi folks, I'm Bob Schrupp, physical therapist.
Brad Heineck, physical therapist.
Together we're the most famous physical therapists on the internet.
In our opinion, of course, Bob.
10 best exercises for osteoporosis or weak bones.
Right. So what are they, Bob?
What is what?
Well, the exercise. Okay, we do have some good exercises. Now, with osteoporosis, typically we're going to gear this for someone that's over 50 years old. Usually it's females. Statistically, it's affected females because after they go through menopause, their hormonal system changes and their bones do not absorb calcium
Like they should.
like they used to.
Yeah.
And so, in that case, the doctors will advise get some exercise, some weight-bearing exercise, and more calcium in your diet.
Not really high impact though for most people?
Well, that's a good point, Bob. It's one of those things, depending on the severity of how weak the bones are, as well as the person's history. Have they been active in the past? Is that what they like to do? But usually, we're not going to start out with running. You know, that's a pretty high
First
impact.
off, we certainly want people to be safe, first off. We don't want to have the exercise cause a broken bone.
Right,
So,
exactly.
Safety comes first with all these to make sure you know your limits.
Mm-hmm.
And secondly, because I did see a thing, Brad, and I know you don't have this listed, but this was kind of one of the new things is they were having people do hopping.
Sure.
You know, which is
And
pretty
I
amazing
think,
to me.
you know, how you hop can be a difference between a medium impact or high impact.
Sure.
As far as, are you going to land on your heels, or are you going to keep that
Kind of a cushion,
for
right.
your calf muscles and the ankles? So we'll get into that in just a little bit as well.
By the way, Brad, in case you have just wandered in to our channel, we
Well,
do
look at that, Bob. The
Yeah.
crowd is growing.
Yeah, we want you to take a second to subscribe to us. We provide videos on how to stay healthy, fit, pain-free, and we upload every day around 9 o'clock at our time,
PM.
Central Time. But also, please take a second to also go to Facebook and like us because we
Right.
like to be liked. All right, Brad, what's
I
the
want
first
to be
one?
liked, Bob. Okay, walking. Just simply going out and walking. Now,
Good universal exercise.
right,
isn't
you
it?
got weight bearing. You're using a lot of muscles throughout the legs and the hips. So from the hips on down, you're going to help increase that bone density. If you haven't walked in the past and you start a walking program, I don't advise going out and walking 2 miles all at once.
Yeah, it's always a progression that you want to
Right.
start off.
Start out with
more
around
each
the
day.
block.
Yeah.
You know, every week add another 5 or 10%. That's
Right.
pretty conservative. But, you know, build it up so over a period of a couple months, you're from 1 or 2 blocks up to that mile mark.
You're going to stay out of trouble that way.
Exactly.
So-
So walking can be great. A treadmill, no problem with a treadmill.
Yeah.
Just be careful with it. Make sure that you have the emergency switch to your hip, because people can, if you haven't used it before, if you walk off and you're not paying attention, you're watching TV, you end up going off the end of the treadmill and you can break some bones.
Well, you can see plenty of this on YouTube if you look for it.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yep. Or if you, I've done this a lot where you walk and you put your foot on the non-moving part and you stumble there.
Yep.
So treadmills is a big caution if you're not used to them, and if your walking is not stable, maybe stay away from those.
Right.
Okay. Next thing's simple. Grab a chair at home and we're going to do some squats.
want me doing, Brad?
Yep, go ahead.
So you can do it. You can do them behind it to hold
Right.
on to it. What's nice is if the chair is right behind you, because then, in case you do go too far and you lose your balance, you just go right into the chair.
Now, some people have knee pain, so when you get down so far, if your knees hurt, then those muscles will not energize as well, or, you know, that could be
Right.
a potential for a fall. So, you know,
What's nice about these two, Brad, when you first start off, you can use your arms.
Sure,
Let's say
you
you're
bet.
weak, you can go ahead, just start using your arms, and you can go back up and down like this.
Right.
You know, usually we try to keep the knee so that it doesn't go past the foot.
Right.
So as you can see here, so we try to go, we don't like to go that puts a lot of pressure on the knee.
Right.
So we try to do these where you kind of come somewhat straight up.
right,
But eventually, as you get better, you might want to go with one arm.
right,
And then eventually you may want to go put your arms across your chest even,
Sure.
go like this.
right. So not only are you working getting some bone density, but you're strengthening the hips and the legs.
Yeah, this
Great
is
for
this is
balance.
really a great exercise for balance.
Stay right there once,
Okay.
Bob, because the next step, stay standing. Instead of going off the chair, let's just do squats.
Okay.
The chair is behind you. in
Oh,
case-
sure. Leave it there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you get tired, you can sit, but you're just going to use a chair for balance. Or if this is the kitchen sink, you can grab your fingers right around the sink. I'm going to put some weight on there in case Bob gets a little
Yeah.
carried away and loses his
But
balance.
what's nice about this is it's a real functional thing too. I mean, that's how you want to pick things up, is you want to
Exactly.
bend your knees like this and
He's trying to
work.
keep a straight back
Yeah.
too. Do it incorrectly once, Bob. Yeah, that's what you want to avoid. You want to stay up tall.
Yeah, keeping your head up
Yep.
while you're doing the squats. And you can do these very shallow
Sure.
to start off with. If
Right,
it's just,
right.
especially if you're getting knee pain, a lot of times you do a shallow squat and it won't hurt as much
Right.
if you don't go as far into the knee. Even little shallow squats like this are better than not doing them at all.
Right,
So,
exactly. That's going to help you with getting up and down steps as well. Okay, let's go to the next one.
Well, another one way to do it, Brad, is to use the ball on the wall.
The ball on the wall. This is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
This is for someone who's a little more stable and mobile.
Brad, you have grippy shoes, right?
Yep,
You want
I
to do
do.
these? I don't have grippy
Yeah,
shoes.
you got to have shoes, or if you're on carpet, so your feet don't slide out, because you'll slide out. You want to bring your feet out away from you a little bit. Good shoulder width wide, and lean right up against there and do a squat. But don't get down so far that you can't get up,
Yeah.
because I'm going to have to stay like this for. Can you help me, Bob? I'm just kidding. But it really makes a big difference when you get too far down. Sometimes you can have a chair.
And again, shallow ones are fine. I
Yeah.
mean, you can do shallow,
Yeah, exactly.
My wife and I both do these,
Mm-hmm.
and she likes, what she does is, when she's warming up in the morning, she'll do off a set of 20,
Yeah.
and she'll go do something else, and she'll do another set of 20. She just throws them in there.
Sure.
So,
As far as repetitions, I would start out with a set of 10 probably, and as you get stronger, you can go up to 20. Usually that's as far as I recommend. I suppose you could do more.
I
if you'd
do
like
30.
to. Bob's a higher repetition person.
Yeah. That's when it starts to burn.
Yep,
So,
exactly. This is an easy one.
yeah.
Hold on the chair and just do some high marching. And this is a little more exerting than it looks like. If I do this for a couple minutes, I'm starting to get tired. And if you haven't done this before, particularly if you're a little older, you do 20 of these, you're going to sit down, you're going to take a rest.
Sure.
So again, that 10 to 20 repetition. Okay, this next one, I like to have something for balance, particularly to start out with. It's just lunging, where you go forward, and it might only be this far, and then don't bring your knee way
Yeah, again,
forward.
so the knee should not go past the front of the foot.
Right. When you get to that point, then you just.
You're dipping down.
Yep.
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 People have trouble with this one, Brad. It takes a bit to
It
get
does.
used to this one.
It really works the quadricep muscles. Good posture. So we're not doing this. This is what we want to avoid in all cases. Up tall, working that posture, and then I like to alternate like this,
Yeah.
Bob. Okay, so
Going
you get
back
both.
and forth.
Yep.
Yep.
And as you get stronger, you can go a little wider and a little deeper. But believe me, do not make the mistake of starting out like this and trying to go down and touch your knee, because chances are you're not going to get up unless you're really strong. It works both of the legs, and you might tumble and have a fall. Okay,
Now, side lunging, huh?
I like doing the side movements because it gets those hip abductors
Sure.
working a little bit, and that's a real important muscle for stabilization, for falls. You need good, strong hips. So you can just walk across the floor like this, and I will see you later. I'm coming back, don't worry. And these can start out small. If these are too easy, at the end of this, we've got some exercises, a way to modify it to make it
To
stronger.
make it a little more
for you.
difficult.
Yeah. Steps. Now, I wouldn't recommend using a step like this, Bob.
Right.
I would go to your stairway in the house where you have some handrails, at least one. If you have two handrails, even better. And then you can just start up and back down. If you want to do one leg at a time and just do step ups like that, you can do that, working both legs 10 at a time. Or you can alternate it like this, and it gives you something more to think about.
And in life, don't pass up the opportunities to walk upstairs.
Right.
Don't take the elevator. Or don't take the escalator. If there's some stairs, you do the stairs.
Exactly.
You want to incorporate this into your life
Right,
too.
absolutely.
So-
My wife always gets a kick that people use the elevator at her work, and they're all younger, and it's like,
Right.
just use the steps, because talking about losing weight and that kind of thing. So, yeah, good.
Yeah, just a good way a quick way throughout the day to spread it out.
Right. I want to throw one in for the upper extremities.
Okay.
Actually two of them in, and that's just the push-ups. Get some weight bearing through the arms. You can start out on the wall. If you haven't done push-ups, or your arms aren't real weak, you can do 10 or 20 of them that way. As that gets stronger, you can go to a cupboard like here, but the plinth is in the way.
Sure.
So we're going to have to go to here. And this is harder than the wall push-up.
Yeah, it is. Now
But
you're
it's not near as hard.
as a real push-up.
Yeah, so you don't have to lay down on the ground and do a regular GI push-up. I think these are good options.
Sure.
All right. And shall we finish off with the advanced?
Yeah, let's go a couple advanced
Okay.
ones.
So for advanced, you do need the therotubing.
Yeah, he's getting some exercise tubing with handles.
Right, and the handles are really handy. And what we're going to do is just step on it like this, bring them up to here, and now you're going to have pretty good balance. You've already done the other exercises. We're going to do the squat down.
So let's give it a little resistance to the squat.
Exactly. Let's go sideways. So we're not doing this. Good posture. Down, here, and we might as well throw the arms in.
There we
and
go.
go like that. That's the beauty of the TheraBand.
So
the
down
tubing.
and up.
Up. Whoa. Down.
Okay.
Yeah, get some music going. Get going. You can do some dancing. You get a little hip movement in there. A little rocky.
All right, Brad, you got one more to
Oh,
show
one
you.
more.
Don't forget the last
This
one.
one is not so much for weight bearing, but I think it's really good for the hips, which is going to help your balance and give you a stable walk and
Get
gait.
some weight bearing to him.
Yep, there is. Not quite as aggressive, but you will feel it right where my fingers are pointing. Have you done this, Bob, lately?
No, I haven't done this one.
Give it a whirl. It's fun.
I know. This one, you are getting a little, making the muscles work a little harder, which means that usually that is good for the bones.
Yep.
So,
So this
all right.
is focusing on those hip bones, and the hips are oftentimes a source of fracture when people fall. So that's another reason why this one's important.
Helps take away that risk factor
Yeah.
somewhat.
So remember to eat your calcium and drink your milk and all those things that are going to give your bone density, and do these exercises. I would say not 7 days a week, 5 days a week is what I like to say. Take 2
Spread
days
it
off.
out.
Exactly.
So, all right. Thanks everybody for watching.